All right, welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in because today we're going to look at one of the most frankly fascinating networks in modern history. I promise you, by the end of our time together today, you might actually look at the entire digital world completely differently. We're going to uncover the hidden philosophical engine running the modern internet, and it all starts with a notorious little group known as the PayPal Mafia. So, let me ask you a question. What on earth connects the world's biggest video platform, the leading electric car company, a hyper-secretive data firm, and the capture of Osama bin Laden? I know, it sounds like a literal conspiracy thriller, right? But the connection is 100% real. The CIA and FBI spent years tracking bin Laden, but ultimately it was a software platform called Gotham, built by a company named Palantir that finally helped pinpoint his location in Pakistan. So, who built Palantir? And how in the world does that tie back to YouTube and Tesla?
Well, the answer traces back to a tiny, singular group of just 134 people. That's it, 134 people who originally worked together and became famously dubbed the PayPal Mafia. Peter Thiel, the guy who founded Palantir, literally the company providing software to the US military and the CIA, he was a key player. Elon Musk, the guy driving global innovation with Tesla and SpaceX, also key player. But you gotta wonder, how did a mere 134 people manage to utterly dominate the modern internet when millions of other smart people couldn't? What was their secret weapon?
To answer that, we really need to shatter a massive illusion. We all tend to think that purely technical skills build tech empires, right? But consider Peter Thiel. He wasn't a computer scientist, not at all. He was a philosopher, a former lawyer, a master chess player. He understood the human brain. Thiel knew he needed a technical counterpart, so he teamed up with Max Levchin, who is this 22-year-old elite mathematician and engineer, super hungry for growth. And this right here is absolutely crucial. It was this exact combination, deep philosophical wisdom, paired with elite, hardcore engineering, that became the absolute bedrock of their power. You see, Thiel's philosophical approach allowed him to basically see right through the laziness of traditional systems. It's actually a lot like education today. Think about it. Traditional colleges are increasingly being called out as, frankly, legal scams, teaching outdated concepts, making you wait 4 years to learn anything useful, and then you have modern disruptors like the Mirai School of Technology, which flips the script with an AI-first curriculum from day one, hands you a MacBook immediately, and gets you building 30 real-world projects with mentors from Google and Amazon. Well, Thiel had that exact same disrupt the lazy old school mindset back in the year 2000, but his target was the banking industry.
Let's set the scene for a second. The year is 2000. If you managed to successfully download a 2-megabyte song, you were basically a neighborhood hero. And meanwhile, the massive, billion-dollar banks, they were painfully slow. Want to transfer money? You're using cash, or mailing a physical check, and it's taking weeks to clear. Thiel had this brilliant philosophical realization. These giant banks weren't avoiding the internet because of legitimate safety concerns. They were avoiding it because of pure laziness. They were just making excuses.
And that realization, it led to what is honestly one of the most brilliant financial hacks ever. Thiel and Levchin just decided to do what the banks wouldn't. Here's how they did it. Step 1, they opened a central pooled account at Wells Fargo. Step 2, they built an internet platform called PayPal, giving users internal digital wallets linked to nothing more than basic Gmail addresses. And Step 3, when users sent money to each other, they weren't actually moving real money between bank accounts. Nope, they were just instantly updating the digital numbers in PayPal's internal wallets, while the actual physical money sat completely untouched in that Wells Fargo account. They literally created the first instant internet bank by just completely bypassing the conservative central ledgers.
Okay, but here is where the story gets incredibly tense. This whole PayPal model, it felt almost illegal. I mean, it was completely unregulated because nobody had written the rules for this yet. So what happens when another genius realizes the exact same loophole? Because literally just meters down the street from PayPal's office, another company was running the exact same unregulated banking hack. And the genius running that office? Yeah, it was Elon Musk with his new platform X.com.
So suddenly, you have PayPal and X.com bleeding millions of dollars trying to utterly destroy each other in this brutal street fight competition. But this is where Thiel's philosophy saves the whole operation. Thiel had studied under a French tutor named René Girard, who taught a concept called mimetic rivalry. Essentially, this theory states that humans don't actually know what they want. We just look around and mimic the desires of others. It leads to destructive, completely meaningless competition. Thiel realized that for thousands of years, kings fought and died over useless pieces of dirt just because they were mimicking each other, and it stalled human innovation entirely.
So back in 2000, PayPal and X.com launched as identical banks right next to each other. Months later, they're draining millions in this brutal rivalry. But then, the philosophical light bulb goes off. Thiel and eventually Musk recognize they are trapped in a classic mimetic rivalry. They aren't innovating anymore, they're just fighting over the same digital piece of land. So, what did they do? Instead of destroying each other, they merged. They combined X.com and PayPal into one single unstoppable empire.
Once they united, this new powerhouse set its sights on eBay. Now remember what an eBay transaction used to look like? You'd win a bid, wait, physically mail a check, wait days for it to clear. It took weeks to finalize one sale. PayPal basically hijacked eBay from the inside out. They offered instant wallet-to-wallet transfers with zero transaction fees, cutting a weeks-long process down to just hours. And let me tell you, politicians hated it, traditional banks hated it, credit card companies charging their 3% fees absolutely loathed it. The pressure from furious politicians, angry bureaucrats, and panicked eBay executives was just immense. eBay suddenly realized PayPal had built a massive, critical business directly inside their own platform. So the tension finally boiled over into the only logical corporate conclusion. eBay just threw their hands up and bought PayPal for a staggering $1.5 billion.
Now, you might think the story ends there, right? A massive payout, everyone goes home happy. But the sale was literally just the beginning. Thiel took his payout and started an investment firm, and he didn't want traditional MBAs or corporate ladder climbers. He strictly hired for specific elite skills. Just look at what the former PayPal employees, the Mafia, went on to build. Jad Karim and Steve Chen thought, hey, if money can transfer digitally, why not video? Boom, they build YouTube. Reid Hoffman, who managed relationships at PayPal, builds LinkedIn. David Sachs builds Yummer. Jeremy Stoppelman builds Yelp. The Mafia wasn't just investing, they were actively spawning the modern internet.
And we see this exact anti-rivalry philosophy play out again perfectly in 2004. A young Mark Zuckerberg pitches a new social network idea to Reid Hoffman. Now, Hoffman is in the middle of building LinkedIn. He could have easily viewed Facebook as a threat and tried to crush it. But instead, Hoffman actively avoids mimetic rivalry. He steps back and introduces Mark directly to Peter Thiel. Thiel applies his understanding of human psychology, sees the massive potential, buys 10% of the company, and writes Zuckerberg $500,000 check. Facebook gets its funding, all because of that core philosophical framework.
So if you take away anything from this explainer today, make it this. It's not some technical skill that actually matters in business. What really matters to a huge extent is the understanding of the human brain. That shared philosophy is the absolute bedrock of their power. Actually, fun fact, years later, when Elon Musk was quite literally on the brink of bankruptcy with SpaceX, it was Peter Thiel who stepped in with the funding to save him. The collective mindset of the PayPal Mafia is the invisible safety net keeping them all on top.
Which leaves us with this final, honestly kind of unsettling thought. Think about the apps you use every single day. The platforms where you're watching videos, building your career, or just talking to friends. Are you using them because the code is simply that good? Or is your daily screen time completely dictated by a small group of philosophers who mastered human psychology decades ago? Definitely something to think about the next time you unlock your phone. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world behind your screens.